Hello everyone, this is Lorii from How Can You Find Love, and I have a guest here over here, ReidAboutSex. That's how he's so known, because like, okay, can you show your butt?
Of course.
Okay, there you go. Like, that's how I knew that, this is the person that you should be able to hear from. But look at his shirt, it says Sex Kick. So I'm so excited because like it's the first time I'm going to be talking to somebody who's really concentrating about sex. So Reid, your background is, can you tell us more about, how do you help people?
Sure, I'm a sex and relationship educator, and I also like going to seminars, so we're meeting here at a seminar. Basically, I teach men and women lots of different things, but I help people solve their relationship problems and their insecurities around sex, so that they can have better sex lives and more self-expressed relationships and feel more connected and intimate and in love.
So I'm just curious, what made you interested with something like this?
Well, my mom and dad loved each other very much, but didn't have really great communication skills. And so my brothers and I grew up watching their inability to communicate, how that damaged their marriage. And so I set off to try to figure out, like, I want to make sure I didn't turn into them and kind of, have the same thing happen to my relationships. And then I started teaching other people how to not ruin your relationships because you didn't inherit really great communication skills, sexuality skills, intimacy skills.
Okay, so I understand you have a lot of people that you're working with, but can you tell us what are the common mistakes that people, let's say they're still single, that they have done that which is related to sex?
The common mistakes for people who are single, and you guys you want to think of like past relationships you've had. A lot of people fall in love with really good people who are horrible fits for them in relationship. And then what ends up happening, like basically you don't date your species. And so they're really nice people,
of course.
And then when you fall in love, everybody's nice, because you're like, you're so dreamy.
That's true, that's true.
But then when some of that love wears off after a while, you have to actually deal with the practicalities of having a real connected, intimate relationship. And so for those of you who are still single, how do you figure out if somebody's a good fit for you before you get all gaga and goo-goo with them? That's one of the things I teach people a lot.
Be careful, Gaga. Lady Gaga? Just joking. So, can you give some simple tips for those people who will be pursuing, like, getting into a relationship, like moving forward? Some tips that they can follow.
Yeah, the big one is, are you having the conversations that you are afraid to have with the person that you're dating? Because if you can't have them early on in the relationship, there's a really good chance it's going to be hard to have them later too. So I would say what you want to do is you want to start practicing talking about the stuff that you're scared to talk about. And then if you scare them away, you probably did yourself a favor. You want to be scaring away the wrong people. And then what happens is when you are talking about the things you're afraid of, if the other person's like, oh my goodness, thank you so much for bringing that up. Here's the stuff I was afraid of. Then you guys are actually starting to like be vulnerable and real with each other. And there's a better chance once you start talking about stuff that you might be able to resolve it or figure out how to fix it or realign it. That you're not talking at all about it is the thing that makes things bigger problems down the road. And most of us grew up with our parents or our grandparents. They were like, we're not going to talk about that because we don't want to rock the boat.
That's true.
And now I'm not saying rock the boat. I'm saying don't be afraid if you rock it a little bit. Walking on eggshells in relationship is eventually what will crush your relationship.
So it means like you also have to be vulnerable and share, what are your expectations.
What you're scared of. What your expectations are, what your needs and wants and desires. So another thing that I do with people is help them start to figure out, like, what are your wants?
Yes.
What are your needs? What are your desires? Yours.
Yes,
not
yes.
what culture tells you
That's
they're
true.
supposed to be, or not what your mom told
That's
you they're
true.
supposed to be.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, like it widely affects the situation in the relationship, right? Maybe that's one of the reasons as well. Like people just broke up because like they say like I'm not having enough or something like that.
There's the other thing that I teach people, and people can go to my website, which is
of course.
ReidAboutSex, REID about sex. Go to my website and just in the search bar type in difficult conversation, and then what you'll get a post that has a PDF you can download. But there's a way to walk yourself through a conversation that's going to be hard to have, so that you get clarity on what you need to say, and then you can create context for the other person. And the quick version of it is you figure out what you're afraid might happen if you tell them, whatever it is. And then you get clear on what it is you'd like to have happen by telling them. And then what you do is you tell the person, like, hey, I have something I want to talk to you about.
Yes.
I am afraid to talk to you about it because I am scared that you'll leave me, or you'll post something really nasty on Facebook, or you'll tell my parents, like whatever I'm afraid of, right?
Yes.
What I'd like to have happen by telling you is that I'll never lie to you.
Yes.
You can trust me to be vulnerable and bring you the scary stuff, and that ideally that you love me more because I'm courageous when I talk to you.
Yes.
And the last step is, and what I haven't told you is, I just lost my job 2 weeks ago, and I didn't tell you 2 weeks ago, and I've been going to the office, and I'm sitting in Starbucks all day, looking for a job, and I'm sorry that I've been lying to you for 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you think about the current trend, which is sexting?
Sexting?
Yeah.
Well, as long as you're sexting me, it's okay.
Okay, that's a good idea. And how about like, the current trend now, as far as people are concerned, because like I think it's been a while. It's just that it's taboo before talk about like friends with benefits. So what's your opinion about that?
If you like. Well, I mean, I can be really funny about this. So to answer your question about sexting without just being silly, the big question with sexting is, do you like to sext? And does the other person like to sext? Did you ask permission? Like before I'm going to send you a picture of my penis, I should be like, is that okay? Is that exciting for you?
Yeah.
Because if I'm sexting you and you don't like it, or if I'm sending you like fabulous love poems and you're like, oh my God, somebody shoot me. Like, we should not do that. So asking permission and checking in with people and figuring out what's exciting and hot. Because then, now we're flirting with the phone. And that can be fun because it's playful.
That's true.
The other thing you need to understand is, well, what happens if you lose your phone, and then, or we're at Thanksgiving dinner and you leave your phone and my mom picks up your phone, and then your mom's like, So you need to understand, if you're going to be sexting, there is a possibility of a breach in privacy. So you should just know about that. Be an adult, make your decisions, do things consciously. As far as friends with benefits, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I think most people who are trying to get their sexual needs met when they're not having a dating romantic relationship, pick really good people who treat you like an awesome person. Like, pick somebody who would actually be friendly to you.
That's true. And
then have the difficult conversations about the kind of sex that you're looking for, what your expectations are. And then, as far as friends with benefits goes, if you're interested in having sex with people and not falling in love, I recommend you only see your friends with benefits once a week at most. If you really want to be safe, see them once a month, because it's really hard to fall in love with somebody when you're only seeing them once a month. And this is, so there's some like protocols that you can do to help delay your imprinting. Mostly because when people fall in love when they didn't mean to,
Yeah.
it complicates things.
That's true.
And you can still, have safer sex.
Yes.
Like be safe, have fun. Like sex,
Yeah.
I don't think sex is this big bad thing.
That's true.
And the other question you can ask yourself is, would you be hanging out with this person if you weren't sleeping with them? I personally like my friends with benefits to be people that I would be friends with even if we weren't boinking. And that's just my opinion. Like you can boink whoever you want. I'm not going to judge.
Yes.
But if you want it to be in a way that adds to your life rather than creates more drama, then it helps if you pick really good people to have friends with benefits with.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yes, of course. So can you tell us what are your current projects and how can people find you?
So people can go to ReidAboutSex.com. My other project is Relationship 10, the number 10, Relationship10x.com. And it's an annual workshop that we do in Las Vegas every year for Valentine's Day.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Okay.
But we learn and geek out and have lots of fun about relationship stuff during the day, and then you go and have fun and party at night in Vegas. And then Relationship10x.com also has a 6-week online course. So you can go have fun in Vegas, and then if you don't remember anything, you can still do the course the rest of the year.
Okay, so do you have any parting words for the singles listening?
Don't give up. Learn how to date your species. All relationships are going to be work. Understand that when you're in love, nothing seems wrong at all. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed that you're single.
Yes.
Like we beat ourselves up for not having a relationship, and you probably just haven't met the right person yet. And there are ways that you can learn. Go to my website. You can learn better ways to find the right people.
Awesome. All right, so there you have it, folks. It was great talking to Reid, and I'll see you again next week. You take care. Enjoy. Bye-bye.